So in this politically correct world, are shareholders getting the short end of the stick on stocks with companies that are sinking fast, but they're run by high-profile women, or are the sharks simply circling too soon because of gender? Take Yahoo, for instance. The stock's off now from its 52-week high, 53. You can see it's coming down fairly quickly. Not to be outdone, IBM way off its 52-week high of $196. And then there's General Motors, again, a very similar chart, way off its 52-week high of $39. All right, guys, let's talk about this. Do we think that these shareholders of these companies are really getting maybe the short end of the brunt because everyone's afraid that if the board takes action against these women, it's going to be seen as politically incorrect? Joining us now, Heather Thomson, Real Housewife of New York and founder of Yummie, along with our Tammy and I'm sorry, Hillary, still with us.
Hillary and Tammy,
all right,
Heather,
so,
we're all here.
And you're brave. Look at this panel.
Exactly.
I'm brave and nervous, okay? Yeah. By the way, there's plexiglass right here. What do you think, Heather?
I think these casual links, honestly, between women in leadership are crude. I really do. I think that they're a little bit antiquated. And, you know, what are leadership skills in men and what are leadership skills in women? And I think that they're really crude and antiquated. And I don't think they really take the full picture into account. So if you have a company that's performing well, and it's led by men, they're not going to make any changes. They're not going to say, oh, we're going to change it, and they're going to leave the status quo. And that's what we are learning here. There's still a bias toward the status quo. Right. But if a company's not performing well, that men have been running, then they want to bring change in. Then they bring the woman in, and now there's a disadvantage. You
know, I mean, Tammy, it's hard to also not argue that IBM was in trouble already when Romney came. That General Motors was obviously in trouble, and that Yahoo was in trouble. So these were three very troubled companies, and the notion that they would be turned around quickly might be far-fetched. But by the same token, shareholders are getting hurt.
Sure. Look, this is actually taking on a parallel track as politics do. When Eastern Europe finally became free, when the Soviet Union fell, many of those countries turned to women because they wanted something distinctly different. But of course, they were in desperate trouble as well. But I also agree here partly in that you've got women. I do believe that we govern differently. I believe we make decisions differently. But at the same time, we're now, I think.
But should you be held to the same, ultimately to the same standard in terms of you've got to win or you've got to lose?
Well, look,
and should the losers be booted?
Here's your segment, though, too. You've got some companies that where the stock's going down. There are hundreds more that are, but you're not talking about them because these are run by women. So the difference is there's 24 women who are CEOs in the Fortune 500. That's just 5%. So we're more than just a couple. It's enough to where I want women to be treated equally. I want them that's part of the feminist framework is that we have the same standards, but also to not have it be more of an extreme standard of saying, well, we do need to get rid of you and have gender be the issue. That's also not the answer.
Not the answer at all.
What do you think?
I think that women are sent into companies very often to clean up the company, and therefore they're set up to fail. I mean,
listen, Marissa Mayer, though, yes, she might have been set up to fail, but it was the red carpet treatment, and she's in these magazines I think that was the outfit she was wearing, right?
You're jealous. Girls, Payne is jealous.
Hell yeah, she's made about $100 million so far. I'm a little jealous.
Okay, and now with Marissa Mayer, I think she should be out. I think that she's the exception. I love a Meg Whitman who walked into a mess at Hewlett-Packard that was falling apart from doing an acquisition that was crazy, from having had Mark Hurd in there. You know, I'm looking at Sheryl Sandberg. Right. She was brought into Facebook.
Real quick, I want to go back to you because you Yummie.
Yes, I have
running your own company, Yummie. Do you think or have you seen that things might have been different if it was a man running this?
Well, I come out of the fashion industry for 25 years, so really a female kind of based industry is male run. And I watched personally the glass escalator for men. Well, we fought the glass ceiling for women. And I just think if you look at a company like IBM, like we were talking about, and Apple, both with earnings down, if you Google it, right, and you Google IBM, you're going to get Tim Cook and how's he going to do and where are we going to be? But if you Google IBM, you get a plethora of articles about can she save them?
We need women to be viewed as individuals based on their style.
And by the way, we got to go. They've been yelling at me to wrap, but also Carly Fiorina, in my mind, was actually given a shaft when she was dismissed.
I agree.
And Mark Hurd rode a lot of her investments to superstardom and hundreds of millions of dollars.
Because it's not only the CEO, it's the board.